things get hard in life, you just keep swinging as hard as you can in your fight. That's our culture.
I promised you we had a plan. Remember that we talked about a plan? The plan was infallible. Part of that infallible plan is getting a team prepared, ready to go, so we start practice. Our coaches know what we got. And there's not one person in America I trust more than Coach making that staff. Think about this. 130 teams either today, they report, or they've already reported. 130. 16 weeks from now, there's going to be one champion. One champion in our conference, one champion on the side of our conference. And in the country, one team's going to do this. Not 36, not 48, not 44, one. That tells you how hard it is to be a champion. To do right all the time. To know your assignments. To have 11 guys play hard on every staff. That's hard. That's why there's one. I want a hungry team. I want a hungry team. I want a team that can't wait to get out there. Where there's a bunch of players that maybe, whenever you have a new coaching staff, you haven't played much, maybe you're trying to make a name for yourself, you're a hungry football player. I want a hungry team. And last one, most importantly, I've got to coach a few of them. I want an angry team. I want a pissed off football team. I want a team that has a little chip on their shoulder. Maybe something's been taken from you. Maybe something hasn't. Maybe something's been taken from you. Are you a team that's going to go get it? You're the Ohio State Buckeyes. You're an angry football team. You got an angry staff. You got a bunch of guys that are getting ready to start a journey. We're starting that journey tomorrow at 5 a.m. You're a hungry football team, and I'm proud to be your coach. There's a plan in place, right?
Good morning, good morning, good morning. We are back with another episode of the Buckeye Roast. It's your boy Ron James here with my guy QPK. Q, it's been a while. How have you been?
It's been a little bit. Still a little hot from the summer, but a summer full of celebrating a natty, so not much to complain about here, man. I'm good. How are you, Ron?
Doing good, man. It feels good to be back in front of the camera and here talking about the reigning national champion Buckeyes. You said a lot of celebrating this offseason. How many shots did you take for the national championship this offseason in celebration of the Buckeyes' most recent national championship?
I don't got enough fingers, Ron. I really don't. I really don't. I don't have enough on my hand. Some natty, some Scottsdale.
My guy's own a buck down there probably has everyone looking at him crazy. It's the middle of July, and he's like, another one for the Buckeyes.
That's just an alcoholic's excuse, you know.
We've been covering this team together for 3 years now on camera, and then 1 year stressing together in spaces. And man, was this offseason everything that you expected? All of our time talking about this team, watching this team, studying this team. Was it everything that you hoped it was?
I mean, it's certainly a feel good. I feel like when you're in the offseason, you either have two things. You're really like us, you're celebrating a natty and you're happy and the stress is off, or you did like us the previous 3 years and it's like, we're this close. We're one play away. We're one personnel decision away. We're one guy getting developed away. So it certainly relieves the stress of that. Now with camp starting back, of course, that stuff comes back because you want to go chase another one. But with the offseason, man, it just feels good. It feels like Day is validated. It feels like the coaching staff is validated. It feels like the trust that those fans had, fighting, to defend Day on spaces against the other fan bases. Oh, he'll never get it. Like, ever since we won a natty, I never said that. I never said Day would never get it done. I never said he wasn't soft, So I never saw these things. Well, now that stuff goes away, and it feels like new confidence in the program, and now you have energy to feed off.
You touched on something that's been a sensitive subject on the timeline. Your boy Ron James has been called a sunshine pumper lately, and I feel like it's just because exactly what you just said there. I feel like this coaching staff with this national championship has been validated in every way and has definitely earned my trust going forward, especially with some of the things that we'll get into later in the show and things that we've stressed about in years past. And I feel like this program has done a great job addressing, and I feel like the future is bright for the Buckeyes coming off a national championship. Camp just started recently, and your boy was there for all 3 days, and we have plenty to talk about in regards to that, but we do have a little bit of housekeeping to talk about. If you may have not noticed already, the Buckeye Roast has a new home. We will be on Dead Air Sports. If you're watching this on the Best Damn Media YouTube channel, the show will be on here for the first 5 days of the season, and then we will be exclusively on the Dead Air Sports YouTube channel. So if you haven't already, make sure that you subscribe over there. We appreciate everybody tuning in. A big thank you to all of our guys that helped us build Best Damn Media, our guy Cam, our guy Mike, everybody that contributed over there, and we're super excited to build over here on Dead Air Sports here going forward.
See, what y'all didn't know is the budget at Best Damn Media just wasn't big enough for Ron. Ron over here, he got outbid for millions of dollars a year, and then he was like, with this extra, $5,000 I got laying around, maybe I'll give it to Q and I'll bring him over. I had no offer, so I said, Ron, I'm coming with you.
I've been promising Q since year one that we're going to be getting Bugattis at the Christmas party. I haven't been able to deliver yet, but maybe the first Christmas party at Dead Air Sports, we might be getting the Bugattis. We'll never know. But if you guys don't subscribe, we're definitely not getting them. So make sure you tap in over here at Dead Air Sports, and we will be live Monday through Friday throughout the season here covering the Buckeyes, and got plenty to talk to. We're definitely going to get into camp at Q. I said there's so many things that happened this offseason. We cannot jump straight into camp. And I wanted to ask you about two of the probably most impactful changes of this team this offseason, and that's the hire of two new coordinators. And I wanted to get your thoughts, or maybe even a grade on both of these hires. We see the Buckeyes go out and hire Matt Patricia as their defensive coordinator, and then a retread at offensive coordinator spun the block. Ryan Day sent the "Hey Big Head" text to Brian Hartline in the middle of the night and said, "Want to be the OC again?" So we're running it back with Hartline. So I want to get your thoughts on these coordinator hires, and what were your initial reaction? It's been a while since we got a chance to talk. So take me back to when you heard the news about these two hires, and what was your initial thought?
So I'll start with Matt Patricia. Honestly, I remember him from the NFL, but it wasn't a coordinator I said I know a lot about. I got to go back and look at some things. Replacing Jim Knowles, who he's out now, but, he transformed the defense. I don't know if you remember the days of the 2021, but it wasn't very pretty. So when you have a great defense like that, you just want to keep the train going. Jim Knowles is out, bringing Matt Patricia. And the line thing I heard was mad scientist, creativity, a lot of the Jim Knowles things that we heard before with Matt Patricia. So I'm excited. I've heard a lot of things. Camp has started. You were there, and I do want to ask you about, your first thoughts of seeing him in person, but just the creativity. You're starting to hear different things like, hey, we got Caleb Downs back here. I'm going to do some different things you haven't seen before. Arvell Reese, we might put him on the edge. We might do the things, Matt Patricia, if you weren't sold in the offseason when he said, we're bringing Matt Patricia back, I feel like a couple interviews in, you're like, yeah, I'm pretty sold on this guy. I think he's going to do some creative things. So right now, you can't give him an A because he hasn't done the job yet, but I'm going to say a solid B+. Say a solid B+, and I'm super excited.
I feel like I was in the minority too when that hire was announced. As far as people that were excited about the hire, I didn't even put that much thought into it. You gave that eloquent response, and I'm over here like, I seen bro win 2 Super Bowls. What are we talking about? What? He was good enough for Bill Belichick. He's not good enough for Ohio State. What are we talking about? I didn't really put too much thought into that. I was like, good enough for Bill. We'll see what happens. And Ryan Day, every time he's had to make a hire post the Jeff Hafley replacement, I feel like he's done a good job of leveling up each time. So I feel like he's earned my trust as far as his hiring process, and we'll see how it plays out. I think he's going to get a lot more creative than Jim Knowles. I mean, we'll get into it later, but we've already seen it at camp with the moving around of Caleb Downs, seeing him rep at the nickel spot with Jalen McClain and Malik Hartford both back at safety. So, I mean, already starting to shake things up. He's been effusive about CJ Hicks. So I'm excited to see what he's able to do with this defense. And I mean, for the people that didn't love the hire, I mean, we're going to see how it plays out. But I thought it was a great hire. I didn't put as much thought into it as Q. I saw the rings and I was like, let's do it.
If all else fails, he's a great PR guy. Like, what do you do when you get hired? Who's the biggest freak shows in this program? I'm waiting till the media walks in. I'm just going to stand by those guys. Probably not even talk about nothing like, yeah, I had lasagna for lunch. I have no idea what I'm going to do with the defense, but yeah, CJ, just stand over there and stretch, and I'm going to talk to you, and it's going to look good. Just stand by the freak shows and let PR take itself.
I mean, if he gives me a top 5 defense, I'm going to be cutting a little hole in his hat to stick my pencil through. I want to jump over to the other side of the ball. Another new coordinator hire. We see the departure of Chip Kelly, one and done here with the Buckeyes. We see Brian Hartline take the reins again. Q, am I oversimplifying and thinking that we're about to air it out again?
I think you are a little bit. So we've done the Brian Hartline thing before. Obviously, he was pushing this role that he wasn't ready.
Kind of.
Yeah,
for spring.
Done a little bit before, and it was the more Ryan Day experience. We feel like now Brian Hartline's had some time. We heard about when Chip came in, he really wanted to get under Chip, learn the offense, maybe learn more than just the pass game. We know he knows that. We know he knows great receivers. Learn the run game, expand a little bit. Now, addition of Tyler Bowen in there, who we will get into later, but that helps a lot. But you feel like with all the great minds of Brian Hartline, Bowen, Day, you feel a little more confident going forward, and you just look around and you're like, man, number 4 sure out there is good. If all else fails, can we just get that guy the ball? Like, if nothing else, let him play quarterback.
Well, I'm gonna have to stop you there, Q, because first episode of the season, and you blanketly referred to someone as number 4 as that alien out there. Well, I hate to break it to you. You're gonna have to be more specific, because we have an alien in number 4 on the other side of the ball in Devin Sanchez, and we're gonna be talking about him later in the show. So I don't think we can just blanketly say that alien wearing number 4 out there, because it's like, which one?
Fair enough, touche. But you know, the all everything man from Florida, Jeremiah Smith himself, who Ron has been paid off by SFE for the past few years now, if you don't know. So he wants me to say the name. I will say Jeremiah Smith. Checks in the mail now. Everyone's happy. I feel like Brian Hartline is going to get a better run at this. I think we're going to see what he's going to do, but I feel like we're going to see a different Brian Hartline than we did before.
Yeah, and one thing that I feel like is going to contribute to the different Brian Hartline is the talent that we have at tight end. We're going to touch on that later. But we have some other departures from the staff that we must discuss before we get into these camp notes. And it's a departure of someone that's probably been one of the more polarizing figures on our previous platform when we would discuss this coaching staff, and that's the departure of Justin Frye. Someone that we criticized a lot on the show last year as far as recruiting misses, but we always would leave the caveat, but he does develop. He does develop. And man, when I got to camp and I saw the way that Justin Frye left this offensive line room, I can't do anything but apologize. I need to issue a public apology to Justin Frye, because, I mean, his evaluations were so spot on, and the room that he left Tyler Bowen with right now is incredible, and it was one of the things that stood out most at camp. And, I mean, Ryan Day did not just go out and replace Justin Frye with one coach, not 2 coaches, but went out and got 3 Power 5 offensive line coaches, and adding Tyler Bowen, Marcus Johnson of Purdue, and Charlie Dickey of Oklahoma State. Got to see those guys in action at camp, and the way that they were able to give individualized attention to all of these players, and the way that they've transformed this room and continue to build on the talent that Justin Frye left them. And then the things that we're seeing Tyler Bowen do in the recruiting sphere as far as casting a wider net, that's one of our biggest complaints that we had with Justin Frye. It's like, all right, bro, if you're going to miss, can you please send some other offers? So, like, you're not just texting someone late in the cycle, like, ever thought about being a Buckeye? So, Q, I want to get your thoughts on the Buckeyes going, just opening the checkbook when it comes to filling this offensive line void after the departure of Justin Fry and going out and hiring 3 coaches.
Yeah, it's good to see. First of all, with Justin Fry, you hit it right on the mark. We said, hey, most importantly, it depends. It makes sense on Saturdays. It works in non-Saturdays. That was a bad way to say that. But as long as the play on Saturday was good, you can't really complain about what else is going on. Now, Tyler Bowen comes in. I feel like recruiting is going to go up. You've seen the offers he's made. You're bringing another 2 Power 5 coaches to do the job. And it's one of those things with the confidence of a championship. It's like, yeah, we figured it out without getting the high recruits in, we just developed. We got guys, we turned them into beasts, and we got a lot of playing time going down the stretch. Now we have the advantage of a lot of guys with playing time. We're not looking at like, oh, this guy has no starts at center. This guy has no starts at guard. It's like, well, how do we shuffle all these guys to get the best 5? And when you're saying, how do we get the best 5? That means you got more than 5 guys that can play. So that's the most important thing Justin Fry has left. Tyler Bowen comes in. You're starting to see in the recruiting game. Like, I'm really excited to see where this offensive line is going forward. But you saw the way, like last year, Tennessee came. They had a guy named James Pierce, freak show. I hear from him all game. I didn't know he played. We go to Texas, all this Texas defensive line, Colin Simmons, first rounder here, first rounder there. Ohio State put paws on them. So you're like, hey, like if those guys come back, you bring Tyler Bowen in, we up the talent a little bit. We got a 5-star, walking in the door every now and then. You feel really confident of where this offensive line is going to go. And as long as they can maintain that level that we played at, it's enough to win a championship because that's been proven.
Absolutely. Before we take a dive into this offensive line, I want to remind everybody, make sure you are subscribed over here at Dead Air Sports. We are live Monday through Friday, every day during the season. Make sure that you check us out, like, comment, subscribe. Q, this offensive line, man, I gave 3 tweets where I gave all of my takeaways from camp each day. And each day there was one position group that I talked about in one of those tweets, and that was the offensive line, because every day they were more impressive than they were the day before. Day 1, I was just completely blown away by the physical transformation by some of these guys, and then just the sheer size. Some of these guys are complete mountains out there. Like Ethan Onua, I mean, he had to, I think he jumped off sides and had to run. I mean, he had a false start and had to run a lap. And I was standing inside the Woody on the first day. We moved in because it started raining. And he's about at the 50, and I was at the 35. And it's like one of those cartoon type of scenes where you can feel the ground shaking under you because there's just this giant mass moving at you. And I feel like if I'd have been standing 2 feet further, he would have just pummeled me and wouldn't have even broke stride. Like, he is an absolute mountain of a human. And to be replacing Josh Simmons at that left tackle position. Again, a shout out to Justin Fry and what this staff has been able to do as far as bringing in these transfers to continue to fill gaps. And then you look at the returning of the interior of the offensive line. But Q, I want to ask you, are you familiar with who the current backup left tackle is?
To be honest, I don't know yet. Who would be the current backup left tackle?
He's actually the holder of the soon-to-be #1 selling jersey in sports. It's one Ian Moore. Any idea what number Ian Moore is wearing for the Buckeyes?
Did he change numbers?
Yeah.
Oh, no, I have no idea what number he changed it.
69. His jersey is now Moore 69. Is that not going to be the #1 festival jersey out there? Like, everybody's going to have that one, no?
Fraternities nationwide have rejoiced.
And then if that's not the #1 selling jersey, it has to be backup quarterback Eli Brick Handler. Like, come on now, Brick Handler, that has to be one of the hardest jerseys out there.
I can't say who would be buying those jerseys because it might be the show band, but you know where I'm going.
Can't ban the snowman.
Jeezy might have one of those on.
If you see Jeezy pop out with the Eli Brick Handler jersey on, you know what's up.
That is crazy.
That is crazy. But like, watching this offensive line, the depth past the starting 5 that we know. I mean, we returned the entire interior with Tegra, Carson Hinzman and Luke Montgomery, the interior of the national championship offensive line. We've already talked about Ethan Unwa at the left tackle position. Then Austin Sareveld, a guy that we talked about a ton during the camp portion of the season last year when we saw the offensive line go down with a mysterious illness. And we saw a lot of the backups get a chance to play. And one of the names that we heard a ton coming out of camp last year during that period was Austin Sareveld, and the way that he stood out. And those reps and the experience that he got last year paying dividends, because it's looking like he's going to be the starting right tackle for the Buckeyes. But then you look past them, we already talked about Ian Moore. I mean, Carter Lowe, an absolute freak show. Like you mentioned, the 5 stars that you're going to continue to land. Josh Padilla looking like a dude at center. And then the list just goes on. Javon McFadden, we saw him at Rivals camps, just completely stonewalling people. And if you watch Juck's recap, he was standing right there for his reps during the one-on-ones and just standing dudes up there like a complete brick wall. So to see that we have that depth on top of, I mean, we still have the Armstrong twins, and the list goes on in the depth in that room and the way that they've recruited, and a room that we thought was a weakness a few years ago, and we've been screaming about the sky falling when it comes to recruiting. But this room is absolutely loaded and possibly a Joe Moore contender this year.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen the formula. It's only a weakness if you can't develop it. You have the talent in there. You have the guys. They don't have to all be 5-star or whatever. We've seen our offensive line outperform teams that were well more star-studded on the offensive line. And we're like, hey, one of these look more physical, and they ain't the one on the other side. So definitely, we have the talent there. Obviously, Tyler Bowen needs to put on his development hat. We're going to know a lot about him because he's going to be in the spotlight very soon. So we're going to know a lot about if he can develop these young guys, if he can develop this offensive line. But like you said, we got freak shows, we got 5 stars, we got guys coming back with reps, and that's the most important things. And what does that breed most of all? Competition. Javon McFadden walking in there like, look, I'm a name. All right, I want to get on this offensive line. I want to make a name for myself. Carlo, hey, I'm a 5-star. There's not many of us. I'm the big man on campus. And you got guys coming back, Armstrong twins, like, hey, we've been here. We've been in the weight room. We've been with Coach Mick. And then you got the starters, Austin Sareveld, saying, like, this is finally my time to shine. It breeds competition. So you feel like this offensive line is really going to develop over the next few days. You said the offensive line got better every day. I want to hear that going all the way through the end of camp on how these guys have developed. And was like, hey, man, it's hard to keep guys off the field, and the first person who's going to feel that is Texas. So I can't wait to see it.
And I know Juck's watching, screaming, and don't forget my guy Jake Cook, a true freshman coming in already in the 2 deep. I mean, for him to be able to already assert himself as a freshman, we know that offensive line is a developmental position, even when guys are 5 stars. I mean, unless you're the complete freak shows, and I mean, we've even seen freak shows have to sit when they've got here. So to see him already find his way into the 2 deep, I mean, the offensive line is in a great place. And I mean, I can't say enough about the way Justin Fry left this room. And man, I owe him an apology. Publicly, I did it on the timeline. I'm doing it on video. I was wrong, and man, I can't thank him enough for the way he left this offensive line room.
Yeah. So Ron, I do have a follow-up question. You have boots on ground. You got to see Tyler Bowen firsthand, live in person. Give me your reaction to how he looked, how he interacted.
Massive human as well, just along with the rest of the people in his room. Giant human, but he was very vocal. He's one of remember when Coach Locke got here and everybody talked about when they're at camp, like you couldn't miss him, like because you would hear him and know where he was at. Tyler Bowen the exact same way. The way the philosophy that he brought to Ohio State as far as making sure all of the offensive linemen have a secondary position and getting to see that in action and watch guys rep in different areas on the line after seeing the success that we had in the postseason last year with guys shuffling around the offensive line and the length of the season. I think the Buckeyes are really understanding this NFL approach to the season, and I think they're applying that through every aspect of the program. And to see the way that they were able to divide that room up and the way that Tyler Bowen commanded his entire room, it was awesome to see.
Yeah. I'm super excited to see what he does. Like I said, you bring the talent, keep developing, man. Offensive line, I'm waiting to say it for a little bit now. Let's not get too far ahead.
Yeah, let's not get too far ahead. But I mean, the Buckeyes will be contending. I I would be shocked if the Buckeyes didn't have the floor for this Buckeye offensive line is top 7. Like if they were 7th in the if they're any lower than 7th in the country, I would be shocked. Q, I wanted to pivot a little bit into something else that I saw at camp, and I want to do a callback to something that we discussed, a little bit of a trauma moment. It had to have been the 2021 Michigan game, maybe the first year that we were on playback and we watched that game together. And it was going into the fourth quarter. And like the broadcast is like zooming out, and there's someone standing on the Michigan bench, and everybody's around him, and he's waving a towel, he's yelling, screaming, and I'm like, it cuts the commercial, and we're all sitting there on playback, and I go, there's no one on our sideline doing that right now. Like, I haven't seen anyone scream like that on our sideline. We haven't seen that vocal leadership, and that, I mean, we saw that last year from Jack and others, Will Howard, and we saw that the impact that it had on the program. It's alive and well, Q. I mean, Caleb Downs, I mean, day one, we're inside the Woody, and they're going through team drills, and Caleb's not even in the game. He's calling out the plays for the defense. Him and Sonny helping the younger guys. They're repping in 7-on-7. Caleb Downs is out on the field screaming, celebrating. That type of leadership and that type of love for football, seeing that back in the program, this team does not look like a team that just won a national championship. And to see that level of hunger and vocal leadership, and then on the other side of the ball, a guy that we've been talking about, and no, this is not paid propaganda. We've been talking about this guy for years, and I feel like the energy that Brandon Innis brings to the offensive side of the ball is a nastiness and a toughness. We've watched him, Jeremiah and Carnell play together for years, and you've heard over and over again how those two aren't vocal guys. Well, I promise you, Brandon is. That's the pit bull of the crew, and he's going to talk, and I feel like these vocal leaders are going to be huge because we saw the impact that it had on the national championship run, and to know that we have that and people that have taken that torch forward, see that type of energy, man, it's exciting because, I mean, it looks like we have a hungry team in Columbus right now.
Yeah, I mean, yes, that was paid propaganda, but I will follow you on that. I believe that was I want to say 2022. But I think in 2022, the guys on the Ohio State side looked over and said, he's got a point. Like, they're over there just watching him like, hey, man, he's bringing the energy. It feels like we've gone through a bit of a transformation the last couple of years under this team. And I get it. Last year, we didn't quite have the success we wanted to as the national championship, or the year before, we didn't have the success of the national championship year. But you felt like we got some guys in the program. We're like, okay, energy is starting to feel a little bit different. Now we had Kyle McCord at quarterback, so that may not have helped things. But you felt some players enter the program and the energy just go a little bit different. And it feels like that has carried over now. Caleb Downs now walks in. I mean, last year we had Quinshon Judkins, Will Howard, a lot of guys in there. And, Lathan Ransom was here. He started to step up. The guys who have been around for a while, you felt like their energy was starting to get to where we would go back and be like, oh, the Glenville guys, they were doing this.
Whoa, well, speaking, I'm so glad I got to cut you off there because you took us right to the next thing that I wanted to talk about. You mentioned Glenville and the energy in those Glenville guys. Well, we got one of them. Oh, do we got one of them? We got multiple of them. And I saw one of them in action this past weekend, and there was a little scuffle after the play between the offense and defense, and we saw Arvell Reese take a swipe at Carson Hinzman, and I'm like, inject this into my forehead. This is the shit I've been waiting for. And to see that type of energy inside of practice on day 3 at camp, it just reinforces what I've known about this team and the identity that has continued to take on. And it's just so funny to hear people call this program over the years soft. And I'm like, all right, we'll see. We'll see. Like, I promise you, there ain't nothing soft about this team. And to see the leadership and the energy out there, I had a tweet go viral this past week, and I said, we got a defense full of crash outs And like, I mean, we do, because anytime they made a play, the defense is halfway on the field in the offense's face. Like, even the guys aren't even on the field. They're running out onto the field to make sure the offense knows that they're here and that they're in their face. So to know that we have that type of energy on the defensive side of the ball, it's going to be a fun year for the Buckeyes.
Yeah, and I also feel like it's also a good mix. Like, you got the Glenville guys, you got the Jersey guys, you got the Florida guys, the guys from down south coming in. It's just like it feels just a good mix of different competitive energy all blending into one. And like I said, at practice, that may go all over the place. You might have offense going after defense. But when they suit up on Saturdays, all that energy is now directed at someone else. And it's a good thing to watch. It's beauty to my eyes. After 2022, man, I'm sitting here like, I wish we had guys like that. Now it's like, we got all guys like that. What are we talking about?
I feel like every time I like watch the Buckeyes or I think about where the program is currently, it's like, I used to pray for times like this. Like, there's so many things that we complained about that they've actually addressed. And it's just like, man, are we about to hit full juggernauts mode? Like, we've been talking about the Buckeyes finally putting it all together, and it feels like they're doing that. I mean, there's still some question marks on this team. But I mean, after seeing some of the things this past weekend, I can't help but be excited about this season.
Yeah, I mean, coming off of Daddy, you can't really complain. And you look at it and you're like, hey, man.
Oh, wait, there's people that'll find things to complain about, but we can't.
Even myself,
I don't got much to complain about.
Even myself, I will find a nitpick here or there. But I will have to say, you feel like going into the season and just the things, without even jumping into really the football, the guys coming back, the energy, the coaching changes, kind of the upside of moves that have been made, you feel like, man, you look at this schedule, like, man, if we could just figure out us a couple things, man, we're gonna be right back into it.
Yeah, like the team up north.
Like, I don't want to. Yeah, that's a big one. But it's like, it's not even really sunshine pumping to be like, there's not much holding this team back from being where we were last year, with a chance to go down, make a run in the playoffs, and find ourselves in a national championship game with a chance to win it. Like, you feel like it's very possible without just like, oh, I'm just projecting if guys have to make some massive transformations. Like, no. All the pieces are already here. We know they can do it. That's a championship confidence. It's just, hey, let's go get it done. Let's run it back.
Absolutely. I want to jump ahead a little bit here because you talked about if a couple things go right. There's allegedly a quarterback battle happening.
Allegedly.
Where do you stand on, is this a real battle or not a real battle?
So, bold statement. Tavian St. Clair will start week 1. All right, now, it hasn't gone that far. not quite that off the rails, but it is a quarterback battle. I will say this. Watching the spring game gave me a lot of confidence. Obviously, Julian Sayin, he's the guy. He's a 5-star. He comes in with the absolute profile. Lincoln Kienholz, he's more the rugged guy. I feel like we had this conversation just a couple of years ago, but he's more the rugged guy. He's a guy, he's tough, he's athletic, he could do this or that. But you feel like, regardless of how the quarterback battle, even though we both feel like we can name a starter right now, and very, very small chance we'll be wrong, you feel like this quarterback position, with the things you talked about, with an offensive line room, with a running back room, with the wide receivers out there, has enough time, with a good defense, has enough time to figure it out. But at the end of the day, I feel like when that happens, you go with the guy with the upside. You go with the guy with the talent, and you say, hey, you got room to make mistakes. You got room to, not be able to command the offense because you got guys to lean on. You just need to steer the ship. And if you do that later on, your talent will take a hold, and then the ship's really rolling. So I feel like you go with the more talented guy. Now, who you want to say that is? I'll leave that to Ron James. He was there live in person. Like, I may not know. I was at practice, but Ron James, what do you think about the quarterback battle?
Well, you compared this quarterback battle to a battle of years before, and we know how that ended. And you compared Julian to the guy that won, and you compared Lincoln to the guy that didn't. And I feel like that's the perfect summary for the way this quarterback battle is going to go. I think Julian will ultimately edge out Lincoln in the end, but you do have to be excited that Lincoln even made this as close as he did. And it has to give you reassurance that there's a guy that Ryan Day feels comfortable going with. If anything were to happen to Julian, like we've seen Devin have to come in a few times and be able to deliver. And I hope that if Lincoln is the backup, we'll be able to see the same type of success if Julian does have to come out of the game. From what I saw, I thought a lot of people weren't happy with my tweet on day 2. I didn't really feel like you got to see much on day 1. I was on Julian's side of the field, so I didn't watch a ton of Lincoln. I think that was Lincoln's best day of camp was day 1. I was on the Julian side. He delivered a dot to Carnell Tate on the first play once they moved inside the Woody. Devin Sanchez had insane coverage, and if the ball would have been an inch left, an inch further, an inch shorter, Devin Sanchez would have broken the pass up, but Carnell Tate with an excellent catch and a beautiful throw by Julian Sayin there. Day 2 was not pretty for either quarterback. I don't think either one of them loved the day that they had. Brandon Innis addressed the team at the end of the game and said that the offense needed to have a better day, and they weren't very pleased with the day that the offense had. And then day 3, I thought both quarterbacks had better days than day 2, but I felt like I started to see the separation from between Julian and Lincoln just a little bit. Like in one setting was them working on the deep ball and just Julian being a little bit more consistent than Lincoln. It looked like he just threw the ball significantly more effortlessly than Lincoln. It looked like Lincoln had to put a little bit more into it. But overall, I mean, even when Lincoln struggled early in that drill, he ended up dialing it in by the end of the drill. And then at the end of practice that day, he continued to rep that drill by himself after practice ended. So to see him continue to work on that after struggling early in the practice with it was good to see. Julian had a couple nice throws. I saw him evade pressure and was able to roll out to his left, and he found Carnell Tate in the middle of the field and delivered a strike and just looked more comfortable on day 3. When we walked in there, Anand looked at me and was like, who is this guy? Because he just had like a different pep in his step. It was like, where was this the past 2 days? Like, it looked like he was like the new kid at school for the first 2 days. And then like the first time that they went into team periods, like Julian breaks the huddle, looks at the defense. You see him walk to the line with confidence, check the play, and then deliver a strike. And then he's clapping, hyping himself up, going back to the huddle. And I'm like, that's the energy that I feel like they're looking to see. And I feel like the only thing that's stopping Julian, I feel like the arm talent's there, the performance on the field is going to ultimately win this job. But I feel like the thing that's holding Ryan Day back from making this decision is Julian taking full command of this team and winning over the locker room. And I feel like that's the last piece to this puzzle when it comes to this quarterback battle.
Yeah, I mean, just to follow that, I mean, you feel like the situation is different for both these guys. They were buried in the depth chart last year. They knew unless we're blowing somebody out or I just having to get a couple minutes at the end of the game when it doesn't matter, that's the only time I'm going to get ticked. So it felt like, you know, when you're practicing and you're throwing and you know you're not the guy, it's really easy. Like, oh, miss pass here. I'll hit one on the next one. You feel confident. Now the stakes are high. Here comes what you call pressure. Pressure is that, hey, like, both Julian and Lincoln, and maybe even Tavian to a point, feel like, hey, man, like, I could compete for some playing time here. Like, I could be the starter. I could be the man on campus. Like, everything's up. That heightens the pressure. But pressure is only so high when you start. Once you get to get used, like me and Ron, we started podcasting. Pressure felt a little bit high. We had our first show. We're like, man, like, if we go ahead, they're going to clown us on Twitter. A couple shows later, we're like, man, we've been here for a week.
And they're clowning us on Twitter. Fuck it.
It's smooth sailing. So you feel like as camp goes on, you talk about the third day, a better performance. You feel like that's going to be the theme throughout camp. These guys are going to get more comfortable with it. And Julian, the guy who, you know, maybe certain things when the bullets are flying, he's not quite ready yet. That's something he's going to grow more comfortable with. Day is going to challenge him. And it's a good thing we got a quarterback guru as a head coach. Supposedly they say so.
Oh, I thought you were going to say as a co-host. I was like, oh, I'm flattered.
Say that too. You feel like they're going to grow more comfortable. So I say, regardless, I am confident in the quarterback situation. I do think it will be Julian at the end of the day, but I feel like the Julian we see right now and that you saw at camp will be a different guy that walks on the field of Texas.
Yeah, and even if he's not perfect, that's the lunatic fringe coming out of me. Even if he's not perfect, like that's even a realistic expectation. Like if he's not perfect his first game, like that.
If he's not the Heisman.
Yeah, if he's not the Heisman on day one. But he doesn't have to be perfect at Texas. And even if the Buckeyes lose that game, that is the beauty of this 12-team playoff, that this team, if the Buckeyes lose that game in years past, they're on losing you're out the rest of the year, and they have no wiggle room. I feel like the Buckeyes, especially with the amount of new starters that they have on defense and breaking in a new quarterback, the Buckeyes are going to have an opportunity to grow and become one of the better teams throughout the season, have the opportunity to get better week in and week out. And even if they struggle against Texas, I mean, it's a long season. And I feel like in years past, when the Buckeyes stumbled or didn't have everything right at the beginning of the year, that would have doomed their season. And I feel like it's a new day that we're dealing with as far as this 12-team playoff. And I feel like you have to have more perspective on the entire season, especially with how long it is. I think the Buckeyes have an opportunity to become one of the best teams throughout the season, even if they're not that on day one.
Yeah. And I mean, you would expect guys are going to get better throughout the season. Like you said, you would expect it to turn up and have high and low points. But like I said, we had that last season. And what do we got? National championship merch in the closet. So I'm hoping for the best. I want to talk trash to Texas, at week 2, week 3, go through the season. But hey, you feel with the confidence and with the room for error, these guys will be right when we need them to be right. First thing we need to do is we need to win the Big Ten. Down the stretch in the Big Ten, we got Penn State coming up. We got Teton we need to get revenge on. We got Oregon.
I can't believe you said anything before Michigan.
we got those, and you feel like, okay, even if we stumble a little bit, so I'm ready for those games. The season is in projection. So I feel confident. You were at camp. You say these guys starting to look better. Hey, it's all good for me.
Absolutely. And one thing that makes me confident about these quarterbacks is the fact that the Buckeyes may have one of the best, a top 5 tight end room in the country. With Jelani Thurman and the addition of Max Clare, one of the best tight ends in the country last year, the Buckeyes look to have an explosive room that's going to be able to really create some mismatches for defenses, because I feel like both of those guys are physical in the run game, but also practically wide receivers in the pass game. What are your thoughts about the tight end position? And we didn't even talk about Will Kazmarek, Bennett Christian. The list goes on. Nate Roberts had a great spring. The room is absolutely loaded. How much of a safety blanket is that going to be for a first-time starting quarterback?
Yeah, you talk about a quarterback's best friend, man. What would this room look like if Joe Royer was still here? No, just messing around. But
No. Stop right now. I'm dead ass. I just tweeted the other day that Joe Royer will be a top 10 tight end in the country. He had 560 yards and 3 touchdowns last year at Cincinnati as his first year as a starter. You put Joe Royer in this room, we're talking about greatest tight end room of
ever.
All time, ever, bro. I'd be wearing a red wig on this show if Joe Royer was still in this room.
Yeah. But I digress. I digress. It's not living the past here. But yeah, obviously Max Clare comes in, possibly the best tight end in the country. Jelani Thurman, a guy with the max talent. And I feel like this is a really good spot for Coach Q right here. You got a guy that's proven, he can do it. If he can do it at Purdue, you're going to do Jordan numbers at Ohio State. Especially, they got to go guard number 4 out there, or either number 4s, as you said earlier. They got to go guard number 17. They got to guard number 1. That's a lot for your defense. Oh, yeah, we got Matt Clare running down the seam, and then he's open. So, yeah, I feel like this tight end room is where it needs to be. Jelani Thurman is a guy we've been waiting on. We've talked about it for years. You want to go back and look at our old episodes? We were talking about Jelani Thurman 3 years ago, saying, hey, this guy has the ultimate talent. Coach Key is a good position here to say, hey, I could both get a guy out here, put best in the country, put him in the room, and I could develop a guy. And I feel like that's the perfect position for it, along with Bennett Christian, other guys you talked about. There's a lot of talent in this tight end room. But you feel confident, like I said, with Julian. There's so many guys around here to help you out and make your life easier. And probably another, first couple round pick at tight end. It's hard to miss here. Like, I feel like this Ohio State offense is just a little match from lighting the world on fire like we've done in past seasons.
Yeah. Did we touch on the running backs at all?
Not even, yeah. Is there room for him in this show?
I mean, I guess we got plenty of time. If I'm late for work, I'm late for work, Q. We're going to have to give the people what they want. And I mean, we got to talk about this running back room. That was also one of the rooms that I talked about in my day one takeaways. I mean, this running back room is 3 deep, and the guys behind that, I mean, this room is going to continue to be loaded for years. I mean, James Peoples, a guy that we know waited patiently last year, and the expectations that everybody already has for him. They go out and get a freak show like CJ Donaldson. Everybody's like, what do you know about CJ Donaldson? I was like, I know when that card came out on NCAA last year, I was destroying people with it. And I'm like, they took this dude that was crazy on the game and got him 20 pounds lighter. I'm excited. I'm excited to see what's about to happen there. And then, I mean, I was talking to my cousin and telling him about this running back room. He's a Pitt fan. He doesn't follow Ohio State. He doesn't know what's going on. And I'm like, bro, our third string running back, crazy. He's like, oh, what's his name? I'm like, Bo Jackson. He's like, how do you ever live up to that name? I'm like, I don't know. But it's going to be one of those names that everybody's going to have to know. There's another Bo Jackson going crazy in college football one day. And if he doesn't get his opportunity this year, I mean, it's going to be a name to remember, obviously, going forward. Because, I mean, every time, whether it's in the spring, each day at camp, the explosion is just different. And that kid's going to be so special. And for that to be third on the depth chart, and you still have Sam Dixon, you still have Turbo Rogers. I mean, the list goes on. This running back room is incredible, and to lose two guys like Travion Henderson and Quinshon Judkins, and to have the confidence of what we had, I had a tweet that people seem to really like. It said, James Peoples confirmed fast. Everybody's like, well, what happened? I'm like, they gave him the ball, and he turned the corner on the entire defense. Everybody on the defense was coming at him. He was going around them. I was like, yeah, I know there's fast guys on that defense, and he's moving faster than everyone else. So to see that level of explosion flash at camp, I mean, it's exciting because we knew how much Travion Henderson's explosion was able to change games from his first appearance as a Buckeye all the way to throughout the playoff run and a national championship run. We watch this guy explode on the scene and flash his speed at Minnesota, and then we see the explosive plays that he was able to have throughout that playoff run. To know that we have a guy that has that type of he doesn't have the same type of speed as Travion Henderson, but he does have that big play explosion. It's reassuring knowing that, hey, you lose two guys that are practically first-round picks in the NFL draft. I know most of they went into second and third, but still, those were elite running backs. And to have a room that you're confident in like that, the Buckeyes are just spoiled.
Yeah. I mean, you look at Coach Locke, man, you had two guys go top 40 in the NFL draft. It's like, man, it's hard to get two top 40 players in college football back, but the hype in this room is really an all-time high. I mean, I can hear it without even going on Twitter. It's like if the hype, you got guys named Bo Jackson, and if Bo Jackson is too high of a name to live up to, just call him Lamar. Like, you can't really get away from it. I mean, we've had the talk of James Peoples. You feel excited for him, and I feel like I was talking with Coach Key a minute ago, there's a really good chance for Coach Locke here. You had Travion Henderson. We knew who he was. Quinshon Judkins, I mean, you're not going to get a better running back to walk into the room than him, so you knew what you had. Now it's like, all right, that was fun, but I want to build something. Let me really take the gloves off here. I got this freak show from Texas. I got C.J. Johnson coming from West Virginia. Let me really develop them and show what I can do. And then all from camp, you've heard, man, these guys look good. They look impressive. Like, we can't wait for you to see them. Follow that up with a high-ranking recruit in Bo Jackson. Like you said, you got Sam Williams-Dixon out here. He's back. He said he was like, maybe I'll be out. And he's like, nah, I want to hang out with Coach Locke for another year. Let me see what he could do for me. He's back. Turbo Rogers felt like a Chip Kelly guy. What can Brian Hartline do with him in the offense? A little bit dynamic, shifty. We'll see how they get creative with him. So, I mean, this running back room, you got to, like the offensive line, the talent is there. Can you develop them? Can you put in a good show on Saturdays? And we will have nothing to complain about.
Q, we still have the defensive side of the ball, and we've gone almost an hour into this show. I feel like I'm going to pivot a little bit, and I just want to talk about some of the young guys before we wrap it up and call it a day on our first time back here on Dead Air Sports. We appreciate everybody that's tuning in. If you're watching on Twitter, make sure you take a minute and jump over to YouTube, but make sure you subscribe to Dead Air Sports. Make sure you follow, retweet the show, drop a like. If you're watching on the Best Damn Media channel right now, jump over to Dead Air Sports. Make sure you subscribe. This is where the show will be going forward, Monday through Friday at 8 a.m. You can catch me and Q every day throughout the season. So make sure you come and find us there. This will only be on the BDMG channel for the first 5 days of the season. So make sure you are subscribed over at Dead Air Sports. Q, the young guys, man, were they impressive all over the field? And I don't even know where to start, but I guess I'm going to start with Epi Satanale, a late addition to the class. This guy's out there wearing number 44, massive shoes to fill, and on day 3 of camp, first day in pads, forces a fumble and recovers another one on a different play. I mean, this guy is an absolute freak show, and it's not even the edge that the staff is raving about. You got Zion Grady, that is like Larry Johnson's swan song as far as his last masterpiece that he's going to try to work on before he gets out of here. And it's like another guy. You have these two edges in a position that everybody's been pissing me off, crying on the timeline, talking about LJ's miss, LJ that, and now everybody that was crying is now retweeting Epi Satanale and Zion Grady are already pushing for time as true freshmen. It's like, oh, I thought we didn't have any edges. I thought the sky was falling. So to see those guys out there calm the entire fan base that has been crying about us not having edges, I mean, to see those two out there go out there and perform, I think they're both going to find ways onto the field by the end of the season, and I feel like that's super exciting. And I mean, the list goes on. I feel like a name that we don't talk about on this channel because I feel like it's just so obvious and goes without saying. Q, breaking news. Devin Sanchez, really good at football. Like, really, really good. It was shocking.
I don't know if we can't say we don't talk about him on this channel enough because we're one day in and we've gotten 5 Devin Sanchez alerts. So I clearly see Ron has more than one sponsor this season.
No, I mean, so one of my biggest, like, everybody, you heard all of the hype and you knew that, you know, this was a blue chip prospect coming in with insane expectations. And it's like, we've only seen one true freshman really play here, and it was Denzel Burke, and it was because of deficiencies in his room. And this room is absolutely loaded. So, like, I always was hesitant to, like, could he play day one? Or could he play day one? Could he play as a true freshman? I'm like, yeah, but I don't know if they're going to need him because the room is so loaded. And, like, he's coming out of high school. Is he going to be physically developed to be able to contribute to a Big Ten roster and, you know, be able to tackle in the Big Ten? Here to tell you, checked all of those boxes. I mean, I stood next to him at camp and I'm like, yep, ready to go. And then you look at all of the highlights. It's even when he does get beat, he has them blanketed. And it's just someone that I don't feel like they're going to be able to keep off the field. And I mean, it feels like Captain Obvious saying that, like, hey, the number one cornerback in the country may play, but like when you have the level of talent that they do, I mean, it's not just a slogan, it's best in America for a reason. It looks like he's ready to contribute. And I mean, I keep the list of freshmen to continue to talk about. Phillip Bell, someone that, I mean, coming out of high school, out of his junior year, I think he had 20, out of his sophomore year, had 20 touchdowns, and then transferred high schools and his numbers dropped a little bit. And he fell in the rankings. And I'm like, this kid that was flirting with being a borderline 5-star and then just tumbled in the rankings. And it just proves to show you that these recruiting sites get it wrong all the time. That's a guy that's going to be a contributor, and not even to mention Quincy Porter, someone who's already had their black stripe removed, a guy that's out there, a just complete physical freak. The Buckeyes are loaded absolutely everywhere. There's young talent in every room. We talked about some of the young guys on the offensive line. I can't say enough about the way the freshmen have flashed in the first 3 days of camp.
Yeah, I mean, that's exactly what you want to hear. I mean, I'm happy that you went out there. You gave them the extensive Ron 3 recruiting test. So it seems like they checked all the boxes now being on campus, and we can trust those scores to be more efficient than the other recruiting sites out there.
Ron 3, one of the greatest recruiting sites ever to live. I feel like that that comic book meme where you're sweating, looking at two buttons, and right now it's like, I want Oregon to fail, or the other button, I need my Ron 3 ranking of Dante Moore being my number one prospect to be correct. It's like, how can I be right and Oregon also lose? It's like, I need Dante Moore to like be a Heisman finalist on a 6-6 team.
Yeah, it feels like those sports prop bets where it's like, I need this dude to score 30, but I need them to also lose. Not to mess up my parlay.
That's exactly what I'm dealing with right now. Like, I'm rooting against Oregon, but I also need my take to hit that Dante Moore was the best player in that class.
Well, hopefully in time they can do both.
If I have to for the Buckeyes, I'll be wrong.
Fair enough. But no, it sounds like Ohio State went out, they did their evaluation, and these guys looked the part. And I mean, that's what you want to hear. I mean, Devin Sanchez, this is what you want. You want a guy coming into a room where it's like, this dude's crazy. He's a freak show, and I don't even know if he's going to play that much. Like, that is the bar you want. Even as a recruit, that's a competition you want to hear coming in the room, because you know if you do start, you're a pro. That's how it really should work. You should have come in, they'd be like, hey, we need you. It's like, what are you doing the last 4 years? Like, y'all need to get it together here, like some programs, but we'll talk about that right now.
You got all these old heads and you need me?
So that's what you want to hear. But I mean, it's great to hear, like you said, defensive end, Sayin, Grady, talking about I'm going to screw up his name.
Episatonale.
There we go. Episatonale. I knew it was going to get me. But you hear those things. It's exciting to hear. We didn't even talk about the linebackers with Riley Pellejon, TJ Alford, Eli Lee coming in. Those guys are ready. Fahim Delane, 5-star, Mr. All Everything.
And I feel like Fahim Delane and Riley Pettijohn fall in the same category of, like, you look at them and you're like, I heard this multiple times about both of these players. They don't look like freshmen. Like, I'm not convinced either one of them are 18. I mean, Fahim Delane's out there at 6'1", 210 as a true freshman. Riley Pettijohn looks like he is on his way to Larry Johnson's room in the next year or year and a half. Like, I feel like our time of watching Riley Pettijohn is going to be limited at linebacker, because I think he's going to eventually be an edge and grow into that position. But man, the physical development of this entire roster. I mean, have you seen the media day pictures of James Peoples? Ridiculous. Yeah. This team looks like they were working in the offseason, and then from what I was able to see at camp, I mean, it looks like that they're hungry. We'll get into it a little bit more tomorrow. Ryan Day touched on it a little bit at his luncheon. I had the opportunity to attend that. We're going to talk a little bit more about that tomorrow. But the one thing that he did mention in there, and it's been talked about a few times throughout the offseason, is how this team came to him immediately once they started getting all the national championship banners and things hung up in the wood, and they're like, take that down. This team hasn't won anything. And I was like, if I'm Ryan Day, I'm like, this team may not have, but Ryan Day did. I want my markup in this building for when other people come in and remember, hey, I did that. Look around. Without me, none of this is possible. Like, if I'm Ryan Day, I'm like, I got one room that I'm about to show you where all my championship. I did that.
They took it all down. He took the box and just took it to his office. All it says is championship in there.
This team may not have won a championship, but Ryan Day did.
This isn't a wooden desk. This is my stack of banners last season. That's how high it goes.
His chair in his office is just made off of playoff bowl trophies.
So you want some water? Oh, I left my championship ring in this cup. I'm sorry.
I wouldn't drink that. I got a ring in there.
No, man. It's good to hear. Like, I think the overall thing is, and you were at practice, the mentality feels to be right. It feels football is back. Everybody's excited. Everybody wants to complain over the summer for Twitter. You know how that goes. It's recruiting time. It's off-season championships. We want an in-season championship. So now parlaying that back, it's time to try to go do another one. You feel like the team's mentality. You feel like the additions are there. It feels like a good time for football. Like you said, we've been doing this for 3 years now. This time of year always feels good. Every mistake last season can be made up. All the successes can be celebrated. It's just a good time to be an Ohio State football fan. If you're going to do that, no better place to do it than Dead Air Sports.
Absolutely. Make sure that you like, comment, subscribe, all of that good stuff. We appreciate everybody tuning in over here on Dead Air Sports. If you're watching on Twitter, make sure you come find us on YouTube and subscribe. We're getting started on a new channel. If you're watching on the BDMG channel, please make sure you jump over here to Dead Air Sports. We will only be broadcasting the show on the BDMG channel for the next 5 days. So make sure you get a chance to subscribe and find us over here. Q, let the people know where they can find you.
Not hard to find. On Twitter, City Boy Quentin. On Instagram, find it Johnson, Dead Air Sports a lot of the time. So, hey, man, come here. You want to find me? I'm right here with my guy, Ron. Ron, where can they find you at?
Well, first, I was rambling there for a second because I was like, I know I have a tagline on how to end this show, and I don't remember it because we haven't done this show in so long, but I do think I remember it. If you want to find me, you can find me right here on Dead Air Sports every day here with my guy Q for the Buckeye Roast live at 8 a.m. You can find me on Twitter at 2Ts and Q. You know how this thing ends. Go Bucks. And OH.
Ayo.
Yeah.
Example, when things get hard in life, you just keep swinging as hard as you can. You fight. That's our culture.
I promised you we had a plan. Remember that we talked about a plan? The plan was infallible. Part of that infallible plan is getting a team prepared, ready to go, so we start practice. Our coaches know what we got. And there's not one person in America I trusted more than Coach Mick and that staff. Think about this. 130 teams either today, they report, or they've already reported. 130. 16 weeks from now, there's going to be one champion. One champion in our conference, one champion on the side of our conference. And in the country, one team's going to do this. Not 36, not 48, not 44, one. That tells you how hard it is to be a champion. To do right all the time. To know your assignments. To have 11 guys play hard on every snap. That's hard. That's why there's one. I want a hungry team. I want a hungry team. I want a team that can't wait to get out there. Where there's a bunch of players that maybe, whenever you're a new coaching staff, you haven't played much, maybe you're trying to make a name for yourself, you're a hungry football player. I want a hungry team. And last one, most importantly, I've got to coach a few of them. I want an angry team. I want a pissed off football team. I want a team that has a little chip on their shoulder. Maybe something's been taken from you. Maybe something hasn't. Maybe something's been taken from you. Are you a team that's going to go get it? You're the Ohio State Buckeyes. You're an angry football team. You got an angry staff. You got a bunch of guys that are getting ready to start a journey. We're starting that journey tomorrow at 5 a.m. You're a hungry football team, and I'm proud to be your coach. There's a plan in place, right?